The writers find it funny for some reason to see my naked body. And no one else in the world does. They find it very attractive, but for the writers, they find it very funny.
I'm gonna miss these guys. I'm gonna miss playing Nando for you guys.
You truly are the most devious bastard in New York City.
Paul, why are you doing this to us? Why are you taking away our shadows?
I think better to go out on top and better to too soon than too late.
This is a great season. This is like one of my favorite seasons. I'm not going to let anybody else talk tonight. This is a great season. You're all going to be very happy.
How do you feel about getting Guillermo out into the corporate world?
It's nice to see him not feeling that he needs to, have a whole life with his buddy over here on his own. Because he's finding himself, and he finds that he wasn't meant to be a vampire, and now he is trying to make it in the real world like a big boy, and unfortunately, they don't let him do it on his own.
Well, just last night, Guillermo introduced me to a film. It was called The Goonies. And in that film, there is a line, and with your permission, I'd like to adjust it slightly this evening. It goes, "Hey, you fucking guys!"
There was many different sort of baby Colin Robinsons over the course of that season. Did you have a favorite iteration of young Colin?
Teenage Colin was my favorite. I got to... the writers find it funny for some reason to see my naked body. And no one else in the world does. They find it very attractive, but for the writers, they find it very funny. And so anytime I got to put on an outfit that was a little too skimpy and act like a child, I mean, that was great for me. I love that.
Paul, where did the idea come from for Laszlo to attempt to create his own life in the style of a certain famous literary character?
That is a brand new idea that has never been done in film or literature before. No, that's the part that really made us laugh, is that we had always wanted to do a Frankenstein-type story, but to have Laszlo completely deny that he has any knowledge of who Frankenstein is was funny. I think, the interesting thing about Mark, or about Colin and Laszlo together is, in season 2, we thought about it, and we'd like the most curmudgeonly, character-wise, the most curmudgeonly, sort of short-tempered person with a person whose pure goal in life is to annoy and bore people, and put the two of them together, we thought would be funny. And then since then, it's developed into like a real begrudging friendship where neither of them would admit how close they are, but they are.
Matt, what is something you are going to miss the most about doing this show?
Obviously, the other actors, being in the situation, the freedom of the situation, because the nature of the mockumentary, which is something that I personally wasn't particularly keen on before, but it's so quick, and you can do anything and stand anywhere, and you don't get to do that on lots of other things. I shall miss that.
I'm gonna miss these guys. I'm gonna miss playing Nando for you guys. It's true.
I second that, or triple that, I guess. These guys have been great, and meeting some of my favorite writers and people to be around every day who are just funny naturally. But I think I'm also going to miss the crew that worked with us really hard on the show, and they put this, together. Yeah, give it for the crew.
The cast and the crew, after 6 seasons, you really do grow quite close. But the freedom that you had on this show, the freedom and the encouragement to improvise and to have input into your character, or for me, being allowed to just go off on weird tangents about stupid stuff I like and have useless information on. I'll never get to do that again.
I know we'll never work on a show again that has fans like this, that just are so creative and so engaged in the show.
How in the world did you come up with the way you were going to say New York City?
It's never kind of pre-planned. Every scene, you're just thinking about getting to the end. And everything is to kind of amuse yourself as well. If you have to say these things, more than once, then yeah. So it's always a kind of, a real sort of surprise to me when certain lines seem to kind of pick up, and I can't predict which ones they are. Yeah, it's just like a huge honor that, that people want to kind of see it all again.
It's also when he makes us laugh by saying, how do you say it?
What's that?
How do you say New York City? Just do it.
What is the line? What's the actual line?
The actual line is, you truly are the most devious bastard in New York City.
You truly are the most devious bastard in New York City.
Yeah.
Yes. For any of the actors, do you have certain favorite, just moments in the show, jokes or stories or anything?
The last thing I shot in season 1 was Jermaine Clement. I thought I was done with the scene. He was like, you see that traffic cone over there? I was like, yeah. Put it on your head. I was like, okay. Put it on my head. Okay, now pretend to be a wizard and sing a song. So then I did, and I became a wizard.
The mosquito collectors of the tri-state area episode, which was written by Sarah Naftalis. One of my favorite moments is that group was just so fun to mix those two worlds because I thought they were coming to the house to kill them. So being in the back of Derek's mom's van and calling them on the cell phone and being like, you gotta get out of the house or you're gonna die. And they were like, it's Bloody Mary. That whole thing, the idea that was so silly and fun. And that whole episode for me stands out as one of my favorite memories. And it started snowing, and we were shooting on location. It felt like this little cute adventure-packed movie.
Of course, your favorite moment didn't include any of the rest of the cast.
It did.
Yeah.
You guys were being
noticed
cursed. You were cursed by Bloody Mary at home.
I noticed
That was the first time we were ever not in a scene together. I went and did something with the mosquito hunters, and then they did stuff without me, and I was like, oh, but it looked so good when they edited it. So.
Where do you think everyone is 100 years from now?
I think 100 years from now, I think they are doing exactly the same thing they're doing now. That is the great irony or tragedy or whatever of this show, is that these people have what we all want, which is eternal life, the time to do whatever we want, learn anything, be a concert pianist, travel the world, and they've just basically been sitting in their living room in Staten Island arguing with each other. And that's where they'll be in 100 years.
I liked the fight scene in the night market, where the night market scene with Kayvan. That was the first time we actually battled together and did something really fun. And we spent a lot of time on that scene. And there was a moment where, we checked the props and everything. There was that trash lid that we have to, I use the shield and he uses the sword. But the swords are, dull, or they're supposed to be. And we're doing the scene, and he actually went through the shield. So he went, and I was all, and he went like this. And he kept going and shoving, and I was like, and that scene itself was exciting because it was terrifying at the same time.